So the FECTA. Let me run through the specs real quick. So this device is going to be available soon, possibly this weekend. It's going to be available from e-cig USA. I'm going to post a couple of links in here for you. It's also going to be available from Wild Valley e-cigs. I'm going to post that link here in just a second. So it's not the drip tip is not serialized, but this is the very first one that I've given away on the show, Ken. So you have, I think you're going to have, other than ones that Al uses that he made for himself, I think you are going to have the very first Bare Brass Mod drip tip. So congratulations. Let's see. It's going to be available, back to the FECTA, sorry, it's going to be available for $249 is the retail price on it, which is a steal, and I'll get to why it is a steal in a little bit when I talk about the device. So, just to show it to you real quick again, so you can take a look, this is what it looks like. It's a very nice mixed finish. The top cap is brushed. The button is brushed, and the body and the tank sleeve are polished. It's also got some nice engraving on it. So you can see here it says FECTA. The E is backward because it is a 3, sort of, and there's a reason for that. Think trifecta. So the device has a first of all, it's got a removable ground screw inside if you want to increase wicking. It's got it's made of 316 stainless steel. The inside of the tube, and this is really interesting, the inside of the body of the tube is actually coated with silver to increase conductivity. And we'll talk about how hard it hits in a little bit on the show, because it definitely works. It is 22 millimeter diameter, and it has the standard threading that most 22 millimeter diameter devices have. It has like a synthesis-like Atomizer as the top part of this as well. It's not quite the same design as the synthesis, but you can use it the same way, and it comes with those extra different size screws and pins that you can use to use this on a different 22 millimeter mod to turn that into a hybrid if you wanted to do so. It has a smaller air hole than the iHybrid. It's a 1.3 millimeter air hole. It has a 2.82 millimeter wick hole, which is larger than the wick hole on the synthesis. It has a reduced top chamber. It has the recessed switch that you've grown accustomed to from the iHybrid, but it's not quite the same. I'll get to that in a little bit. And it does have the adjustable positive battery connection. And I believe that covers the specs. So let's talk about this device. So I'll you know I'll be honest with you, when I first set it up and I started vaping it, I was absolutely blown away. It's like, you know, I know this isn't the case, Faceless, but and I'm gonna sound like I'm, you know, going all fanboy on you here, but it was like you took the iHybrid and took everything that I complained about with the iHybrid on my show and changed that about the device. So it's not as bulky. It's 22 millimeter. It's actually quite compact. I mean, if you look at this, and this is an 18500 battery, keep that in mind. There's not a lot of this poking out of the top of my hand here. So just you know, about the same amount, maybe a tiny bit more than the KEF when the KEF is in 18350 mode. The air hole dropping down to 1.3 millimeter. I've said on my show many times, 1.2, 1.3 mil is my sweet spot. The reduced chamber improves the warmth and the flavor of the vapor greatly. I mean, really, the switch, which I don't, I didn't love the switch, the new switch on the iHybrid, not because I don't like the design or the look or the fact that it's a recessed switch. I didn't like it because I thought it was stiff. This is not at all. It's actually a very soft throw on the switch, and it's a very short throw too. You don't have to push it in very far. Let's talk about the firing button real quick. So the firing button on this is a little bit different than what you're used to on the iHybrid, and the reason why it is a softer throw is because it is a single spring. Okay, so the design looks very similar, but rather than having the let's see if I can get this to focus in here. Come on, you jerk. No, not gonna happen. Let's try it without the hand. Maybe that'll work. Hold on. I'm gonna take autofocus off. So, there we go. So, this piece of Delrin right here does not move. It's not a double spring switch. So, it does not have that self-adjusting throw and self-adjusting for battery size like the standard iHybrid does, and that's fine. It's very easy to adjust. It just has an adjustable positive pin. The button, as I said, very smooth. Let's take a look at the engravings real quick. You've got the standard iHybrid logo that you're all familiar with, and then it says Vecta on there as well. And as you can see, the contact point is a brass screw. The body of the device has a some slight curves to it. It's got like a contour, and when I saw a picture of it, I was like, I don't know if I love the look of that. It looks much better in person, and it feels great because the way that I typically hold a device, it's actually where my index finger and my middle finger go, or where my index or where my middle finger and my ring finger go. So it feels really nice in the hand. I like that a lot. Then you have the bottom connection. This is really interesting. I'm not going to take this apart because I don't want to have to hammer it back in, but basically the way that this works is that brass, you have that brass screw there that's screwed into that little round piece of brass on the bottom there. That little round piece of brass actually pops out. The reason that you can pop that out is because popping that out is how you will remove that to attach the 510 base that will be soon sold for this device as a 510 atomizer. So you'll be able to use this on top of any other 510 mod that you want, which is really cool. So this little brass piece there that this screw is screwed into actually pops out, and it's got like a concave cup in it that presses in and kind of wraps around a screw that's inside there that's connected to the base of the positive post. When I first looked at that, I was like, oh man, that's a lot of points of failure and it's not going to hit that hard and blah blah. No, I was wrong. We'll get to that in a little bit. So that's what this looks like here. Then you've got the standard, well, it's not the standard, but you have a tank sleeve on here like other iHybrid devices, but this one looks different. It's the 3 dots rather than the standard iHybrid tank sleeve. Hold on a sec, let me reassemble this guy. I know I'm out of focus, but I'm going to be doing another close-up here in a sec, so bear with me a moment. There we go. Take the tank sleeve off. You can use it without the tank sleeve if you want to, but I wouldn't. and you can see it holds, and I believe it holds about 2.5 milliliters of juice. Faceless, if you want to chime in and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's about 2.5. And then top cap is held on with a single O-ring, or 2.8. Oh, so it's kind of an ish. It's around 2.8. He says 2.8 question mark. Now, you can set this up a couple different ways. You cannot set it up with a U-wick, but you do not need to. This wicks exceptionally well. You can set it up as a single, or you can set it up as a dual coil, as you can see. Sorry, I'm a little wobbly there. That negative hole, if you do have wicking issues for whatever reason, the second negative screw, the hole is actually drilled all the way through the addy deck, so you can take that out and it will increase the airflow to the juice tank to help increase wicking. So, you know, I did experience some minor wicking issues with the synthesis. Not an issue with this at all. In fact, you know, I would use this in place of the synthesis, to be quite honest, the top from this. So that's what it looks like under the top cap. The inside of the top cap, very, very small. You know, keep in mind it's a 22 millimeter device, but the atomizer portion of this itself is more like 18 millimeters, okay? Because the 22 millimeter is the tank sleeve, but the atomizer itself is more, like I said, the size of about an 18 millimeter atomizer. So, and the inside of the top cap, as you can see, is reduced even further. So, let's see. Pop that back on, and yeah, so that's what it looks like. And top, whoop, not quite as secure as I thought, maybe. Let's see if that's lined on, I guess. And that's actually going to be the only thing I complain about a little bit, Face. The top cap is not quite as snug as I would like to see it. Not a huge deal. You could put a bigger O-ring on there. It's really not any kind of deal breaker, but the top cap isn't quite as snug as I would like. But you know, because you have a tank protector on there, it's not really a big deal, because that's going to help keep it on there anyway. And yeah, I'm actually using the stainless steel rope in this as well. So I'm going to take autofocus off and now talk about this. Here we go. So, how's it vape? It's phenomenal. I think, and I know there's a lot of you know, iHybrid fans that came to the show to see this specific review. You know, there were some things that I don't love about the iHybrid. That, you know, a lot of it is personal preference stuff. You know, like the size and the size of the air hole. There's a lot of people that like an airier draw than I do, and that's fine. This is, in my opinion, this blows the iHybrid out of the water. Absolutely blows it out of the water. The standard iHybrid. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal vape. The warmth of the vapor, the flavor of the vapor, it's not even a comparison with what you get from the standard iHybrid and what you get from many, many other atomizers that are on the market right now. I find that this performs better than the synthesis. I find that this performs better than a lot of other high-end devices. I will say I think this is probably my favorite hybrid that I've tried. You know, and I don't know, that's probably a short list, maybe 10, maybe 15, something like that. But this is the best one. I like it a lot. The vapor production is really good. It's not stupid vapor production like you get from like a 1.5 millimeter hole or larger, but it's really, really good. Here, I'll take a vape so you can see. So, yeah, I mean, like you can see, the vapor production's fantastic. Now, not only is this an awesome hybrid and is this honestly, this is my favorite hybrid. It performs better than anything else that I've used. Overall quality of the vapor, flavor of the vapor, how hard it hits, everything, the form factor, how it feels, the way the button feels, everything about it I like. Not only is it an awesome hybrid, but here's the real cool part. And this is why it's a steal for $249, okay? And I don't want to go too much longer with this review just because I still have 2 other products to review, but I do want to touch on this real quick. So, not only do you have a hybrid with this device, but you also get a 510 mod, okay? You can see the top cap. It's actually a really cool looking top cap design. I like the way the air channels are set up there. Really cool design, kind of Illuminati-esque design-wise. And this has adjustable pin in it, just like the top Atomizer does. As you can see, it's dual. That screws into a little aluminum pin. So the contact point with the 510 connection is actually aluminum, which obviously has very high conductivity. Yeah, and this is telescoping, as you can see. So basically, you're getting once the 510 connection comes out for the Atomizer, which I don't know what kind of time frame we're looking at, but when I talked to Faceless before the show, he told me we're probably going to be looking at somewhere between like $10 to $20 for the 510 connection, probably more like 10 to 15. So for like $265, we'll say $270 with shipping, maybe $275 max, you are going to get a really nice mod, a really nice Atomizer, and a hybrid. So that is why I say this is absolutely a steal for the price. So, you know, that is why it's called the Fecta. That's the kind of the trifecta that you get there. You get an Atomizer that you can, for now, still use as a synthesis, or like a synthesis if you want to. You get a mod that hits really hard, performs really well. I actually tried it with the GKMF, and it worked flawlessly, no issues. And then you also obviously get the hybrid as well. So, yeah. It's awesome. The only, you know, and now I'll do my part where I get a little bit nitpicky. The only 2 things that I didn't love about it, I prefer a brushed finish, you know, personal preference, and the top cap isn't quite as snug as I would like to see, but again, you know, you can fix that by putting a different O-ring on the top. But everything else about it is just is fantastic. It's an amazing vape. It's really, really good. So, yeah, if you come out with a brushed finish version with a bigger O-ring, faceless, and I can't, you know, then I can honestly say I can't think of anything I don't like about it. So. Nice. He will be doing a brushed finish, he just said in chat, so there you go. I'm going to take another vape off of it before we move on, though. So, yeah, that's the Fecta from iHybrid Mods from Faceless. And thank you, Faceless, for coming by the show to help answer questions in chat. Yeah, overall, phenomenal. It's a phenomenal device. I think it's the best hybrid that I've ever used. Like I said, my only gripes, top cap, I wish it was a little bit more snug, and I wish it came in a brush finish, but apparently it's going to be coming in a brush finish too, so awesome.